Yeah, I think we were joking about trauma bonding
Yeah,
before, and it really is just nice to have someone who has experienced the exact same thing,
yeah.
and also someone who I just really love your perspective, so it's just like, "Okay, great." Thank God. I
I
mean,
love
'cause
you.
I just felt so stupid. I felt so
Me
dumb,
too.
and I was just like, "Well, thank God I'm not the only person this has happened to."
Welcome to Sacred Comedy. Have you ever been hacked, scammed, or even had your identity stolen and wondered, why is this happening to me? Well, today's episode is for you. My friend, hilarious comedian Venessa Peruda, and I experienced the thieving of our social media business accounts within a week of one another. And we wanted to share this episode with you as a real time exploration that demonstrates why you are never alone in your experiences. We get real about the feelings that we felt, how we witnessed ourselves, and even the cringy journey through self blame. We discuss the way we live in the modern world and how it's just so unsupportive of natural human psychological health. You know, as humans who are humaning, sometimes we're being bombarded with messages from spirit, and even if we've been on the path for a long time, we ignore it or we miss it until the shite hits the fan. So do come along on this self-awareness ride as we share our journey with you. We share tips on how to actually slow down, how to raise your frequency, angel numbers and what they are, the realities of the industry of comedy and social media, and how we resolved the messages from our universes. So, if you like this episode, please leave a comment, review, or even a simple thumbs up. We really love bringing you these conversations, and we hope they shed some light around the topics that you enjoy. So, stay tuned and come hang out. Hey, everybody, welcome to Sacred Comedy. I have my good friend Venessa Peruda here. Say hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Vanessa Peruda. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Vanessa is a stand up comedian, amongst other things, and she's hilarious and amazing, and I adore her. And we are here today to talk about messages from the universe. We were both scammed and hacked on Instagram, and we bonded over it. Yeah,
Messages
this.
from the metaverse really is what happened. Like, it was a DM from Meta, literally, that
Truly.
I mean, just the background for what happened to me, and I think yours was the same situation.
Yeah.
Got a DM from Meta saying that I had violated community standards and that my account was going to be disabled, and if I wanted to appeal it, to click the link.
Did you see there was like an area where it shows like several people commented on your shit? And I was like, who the fuck is talking about me?
Mhm.
Totally an ego hit. Like these
Mhm.
hackers knew exactly where to hit you
Right.
in my insecure Instagram energy,
Yeah,
which
and
was
I did.
big.
Yeah, which is the biggest insecurity I have is social media. And it was so strange because I did see like all these people had reported my account and I didn't know any of them. They were all total strangers. I was like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
Um, and then I also was like, did I do something?
I know. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was it's really interesting. Like I'm working through these issues of immediately blaming myself.
Hmm,
And and just to observe my first thoughts when I, like, looked at those people, and I
yeah.
was like, "Well, they obviously have an issue with me." Like, I literally was like, "Let me give them the benefit of the doubt." They were all
Right.
bots.
Yeah.
They were all bots.
Yeah. And I guess I was so it was strange because it was such a normal and like clear morning for me that I was kind of like in the headspace of like being productive and getting some stuff done. And typically I'm very shrewd about internet stuff, weird emails, weird messages, all the above. Like I'm typically very good at recognizing scams.
Yeah.
And it was just all I had to do was click that link and then it was just over.
Yeah.
It was like a race to the bottom. Like I first then, like, I got an email from Meta after I clicked the link, saying that there was a new login for my Instagram account.
I saw that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, no." And so then I started, like, resetting all my passwords. I tried to, like, reset my Instagram, and then it
Same.
just pushed me into my Belly Laugh account. So the account that I have for that show that I was producing,
Oh.
and I couldn't get out of there because at that point, like, my account had been, like, disabled. It was just gone. It
Oh.
was gone! It's
Did they
crazy
try to
making.
message you? Did they message you over WhatsApp?
I got a weird WhatsApp message from a number in Turkey that was like, "Is this your profile?" And I oh, I was like,
Ah.
"What do I do? Like, do I look is this like a genuinely concerned person in Turkey?"
And hey everyone, please watch the video of this because here's the phone number of
Aha.
my hacker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I'll have
write
to
it down.
reverse it and write it down for you. But yeah, they're so kind. They offer Kateriu from the UK offered to sell it back. Don't worry, you'll get it
Oh,
back. Same thing if you pay for it.
I didn't get any,
Oh, you
like,
didn't get
ransom
that.
no, I didn't get a ransom note.
Fucking rants. I was like, good luck. I have like no engagement,
You're like, "I don't
bro.
have any money. What are
I
you
was like,
talking about?"
take it.
That's another, like, big question of mine, that I've been struggling is, like, to what end? Like, what is the strategy? Like, what's the reason behind just especially for me, I gotta even get, like, a ransom note. Like, I understand if they're trying to, like, hold your account ransom and, like, get money out of it, but I didn't get that message at all, so I'm just like, "So you're just, like, hacking and then deleting my account for what? Data?"
They are getting, I think what they're doing is they're getting your access to your followers
Uh-huh.
and they sell, I mean, according to his plan that he so graciously shared with me,
This mother
he was he said, "Please don't worry, it'll be returned." And I was like I was trying to manipulate him a little. I was like, "Can I help you in any way? Like, is there
Oh,
something?"
yeah.
I was totally like trying to like
Appeal to his heart.
yeah, I was like appeasing my hacker. And he goes, "Okay, I will find another buyer. Have a nice day."
Okay,
And
fuck
then he
you.
said, "I won't reply anymore. It will be sold to someone else soon. Good luck." And I said, "Good luck to you."
Good luck to
So he
you.
did sell it and he sold it to a Bitcoin miner. And I found, and that page popped up as my initial
You.
page
Uh-huh,
because, and this was like a week later, because then that account was connected already to everyone that was connected to my original Sacred Comedy account.
uh-huh.
So they were emailing people. Some people asked for money of other friends, and they
Mhm.
found you probably through me,
Right,
which was another layer of like
right.
guilt and shame. Because I was like, I am the cause. Oh, like, not even like, let me blame it on the actual fucking scammers, but I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
let me blame it on myself because now
No, oh my
everyone's
god.
infected. I was
No,
sick with like COVID
I
and I
could imagine.
sneezed and I didn't know it. And then I got everyone else sick. And like, that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
activated some shit.
Yeah, and it's no one's fault except for the people who are doing it, obviously, and that was interesting because then, like, in that same DM that I got the initial message from Meta, but they changed the picture, they changed everything.
Yeah.
And then when I scrolled up further, I saw our conversation from, like, back in whenever, the last time we were DMing on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so that was really confusing, and then it all was just like I was like, "Oh, fuck, you
How
got
did you
real good."
feel? Like what was your stages of grief?
Okay, denial. Obviously, first and foremost, I was in major denial, and I was just like that was all I did. That was, like, last Sunday, it was a week ago, last Sunday, and all morning, all I was trying to do was, like, follow all the troubleshooting on through Meta, through the support page to figure out how to recover it, how to and not only, like, I got to certain avenues in, like, the support page that sort of addressed what was going on, but nothing was, like, straight up like, "I've been hacked and my account was disabled," like, nothing as specific as what had actually happened, And then I found some other, like I got far in other, like, troubleshooting avenues, and then I would need to click a link or something or upload, like, a screenshot of, like, my ID or something like that, and none of those links worked. They were all broken links, and I was like, "What is ha" like, so then it turned into rage, and I was just like, a very, like, I got into a real, like, victim mentality, like, "Why is this happening to me? Why does everything why is everything so fucked up for me? Like, why would this happen to me?" And, like, it just yeah, it was that was a kind of, an embarrassing stage of, like, it's not I'm not that special.
It's funny how it was but it was like rage and embarrassment at the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh god, I just felt so stupid, and I started, texting some friends, asking them to report that my account was hacked, and they couldn't find me, so then that was really sinking in that it was just gone. Um, and yeah, and then some people were like, "Why would you" everyone knows that. That's like an old, like, phishing scam, like, how and I was like, "Well, where were you?" Like, I don't know. Oh my god, I wrote a joke about it because I was like, some people were very supportive and had a similar hacking experience, and other friends were like, "You're a fucking idiot. Why would you click that link?" And it's just like and they're like, "That was a phishing scam that was all over Facebook like a year ago." And I was like, "Oh, you're still on Facebook? Who's the real loser here? I don't I don't understand. You think you're so great." I don't know. And someone else was like, "It's literally in the news." And I was like, "I will punch you in the throat next time I see
No.
you."
I'm sorry, but Israel Palestine is in the news. The
Right,
freaking like Trump Biden is
right.
in the news, but
Yes. This is not
this is
whatever.
not like my mother-in-law sending me emails of things that I shouldn't like, you know. I I was so surprised at how sophisticated it was. And I'm really happy that I did well, I love
Yeah.
your jokes so much because I'm like, well, maybe I don't spend so much time here that I know
Yeah.
everything that's up. So part of me wants to feel better, like put myself up, above those people.
Yeah,
But
and I think that's very much a thing, is like you're not in the know
no,
of something that I could have prevented something, and also maybe just like a little bit more time. Are you familiar with like the sacred pause?
no, but it's crazy that you brought that up because I've been really feeling that this week. Like
Um,
just
my
chill.
my brother sent me like uh maybe it was like a podcast or something, or like a meditation, and it's just and I wrote it down. It's on my board here.
Oh my God.
In the moment between the stimulus and the response is a space. That is your power and your freedom. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Ah, and we
Yeah.
take a nice big deep breath in. Holy crap. Can you say that one more time?
Absolutely. I'm gonna
Yeah.
so I look good while I do it. Um, in in the moment between the stimulus and the response is a space. That is your power and your freedom.
Wow.
And I have noticed in the past, I don't know, couple years that I tend to be very impulsive. And I'm also, and specifically around like work when I'm at my day job, I'm like knocking out emails,
Like
sending replies right
Taskmaster.
away. Yeah,
Yep.
just like because I'm so overworked, like my particular role at my job, I'm doing 3 people's jobs.
Oh, I'm
And
so
so
sorry.
it's okay. My workload is a lot. And so but also I'm like a highly ambitious person and someone who's like I am very capable of multitasking, and I'm very capable of doing a lot.
Yeah.
Highly productive. But also I noticed that when I was just like so impulsively responding to emails or to messages, then like those people would come back and they're like, actually, this is gonna change and we're not gonna do that right now. But I was like, I already sent the fucking thing. Like,
Oh,
so
shit.
I
Yeah.
was running into this kind of impulsive behavior, which I've noticed in like other aspects of my life. And uh that just I've been learning to really just like take a breath.
Yeah.
and not
Everybody.
respond right away. Something else happened recently. Oh, Belly Laugh, the show was canceled
Oh,
after
shit.
like 3 shows, and that's a whole long history of running this show at this venue. And, when I
I'm
got the text
sorry, dude.
message from the venue people, I drafted several text replies.
Being the taskmaster that I am.
Yeah, I needed
Yeah.
to let them know immediately what I thought of their decision and, like, wanted to respond, and I was like but I had learned to pause, and it's like, "You don't need to send your response right now. Breathe, like, take a walk, do something else, just allow for a little space so you can really, like, respond in the way that the best way that you can." And, but, like, last Sunday morning, I was very much in this mentality of, like, "Go, go, 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 do all these things," and I read the message, and it was like, this isn't right, I didn't violate community standards, fuck yeah, I'm gonna appeal," and, like, I did not pause. So
Same. Fucking same-idity, same-idity,
Oh
same.
my god, and there's just no better illustration of, like, the power of that pause
Mhm.
than, like, than this story. And I've also then been kicking myself for not understanding my lesson and, like, implementing my lesson of, like, the impulsiveness is, like, something that you deal with, and, it only serves you to take a moment and to breathe and to, like, really pause,
Yeah.
and I didn't, and, paid the ultimate price.
You know, it's amazing that you're saying all of this. This is why, like, I'm so happy to talk to you about this. Um, this just fits. This is so synchronistic, which
It
is a message from the universe. I made a
uh
list of all of the messages from the universe according to Google and ChatGPT.
Mhm.
And one of the main things is like synchronicities. I mean, I don't need Google to tell me what these are, but I just
Sure.
thought for our podcast, for some structure,
Yeah, I like it.
um, so it's like synchronicities, angel numbers, gut feelings, common signs, spirit animals, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recognized this immediately as a message from the universe when this all happened.
Mhm.
And funny enough, I had exactly the same lesson, or I came to terms with the fact that I was just so trigger happy.
Yeah.
It's like I was ready to fuck, let's just squash, do it,
Yeah.
like let me
Yeah.
do blah. And over the week that I've been thinking about, and I'm a manifesting generator. I don't know if you know what that is. It's
But
human design.
that I've heard of it,
Yeah.
and I can guess what a manifesting generator means, but
It sounds, I think it's like it sounds like it's like a faux ami. Like I think it sounds like you're always like manifesting and generating.
oh.
That's what it sounds
Mhm.
like, but it's not. I think one thing about manifesting generators is you're supposed to like pause and wait before you make a decision. And I've
Mm.
known that intellectually for like a really long time, but
Mhm.
I didn't think it was such a problem. And I've had people tell me in the last year, you're moving too fast. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not moving too
Too fast
fast.
for
I'm
who? Too
just,
fast for you?
what
Probably. Sorry,
aren't
I'm
we?
feeling it.
I know. But it's also like, why? I know. But why? But, like, aren't we supposed to move fast? Aren't we supposed to hustle? Isn't this, like, what we're supposed to do? Like, nobody is not moving fast. If you gotta keep up, we're in a tri-state area, we're in New York City, like, this is you have to keep going. And one of the things that occurred to me over the course of the week is that when I was taking a pause a week before this all happened, because I was doing like some healing work for myself, and part of the process that I was doing involved really clearing out everything from my schedule and just chilling. And what
Yeah.
I noticed when I slowed everything down and was only allowing myself to like make bracelets or listen to a podcast, do healthy things for myself, eat healthy food, not watch, crap TV like fucking Love is Blind, which we'll talk about. And I was like, okay, I noticed that my mind shifted so quickly from activity to activity because it got bored.
Mm.
Or, I would like listen to a podcast for like 20 minutes and I was like, next.
Mhm.
And I had to kind of like stack my day with healthier activities. So I was like, okay, I see where I jump very quickly into wanting to do the next thing. And when I sunk down into it and asked the universe,
Mhm.
what I immediately got back is because we have been trained to have these attention spans because of social media.
Mhm.
Try slowing down on social media. Jump onto social media because you thought of something to do, and
Yeah.
then 5 minutes later, you're like, "What the fuck did I come here to do
Yes.
again?"
That is so real.
And
That
I
is
was
so real.
right? And
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, got it." I noticed also when this happened for me, I because I had done this healing work like a week before. It was 5 in the morning. I was like, "Let me just not have this an issue." And then when it all came down, I was like, "Ah." And I felt a burning sensation in my chest, a very warm sensation, and I was like, "What is this feeling?" And then I heard, "Oh, honey, that's grief." And I
Oh.
was like, "Oh, I never felt this before." Because I never let myself feel it before. I
Uh-huh.
was like, "That hurts."
Yeah.
Really hurts.
Yeah.
Kind of allowed myself to process the grief of all the energy that I put into this space. Not only my space, MySpace and Friendster. Not only my space, but everyone else's space on there
Mhm.
in such an inauthentic way. Because
Mm.
a lot of things for me about Instagram were doing things because someone told me that's what I'm supposed to do to get more engagement.
Right.
And I could never make the connection between my authentic expression on social media
Right.
and social media. And for me, it's because social media is not a connector. It's a marketplace.
Mhm.
It's not for human connection. It's not built
Yeah.
for human connection.
Yeah. And it really is like we have not only been conditioned by social media to have that that attention span, but also like you said, living in the tri-state area, that hustle, that grind, that mentality is like literally in the energy in the air all around us. Like we're submersed in that frenetic
Yeah,
go go go
that's
high
the word.
stress like
Frenetic.
all the time,
Frantic. It's like a
frantic.
frantic.
Yep, it's and it's glorified because that's like New York, like that's what like that's what you do. That's what we do
Yeah,
here. Like success, like ambition, like career driven, like that is literally the vibration throughout the tri-state area, throughout the city. And so, and we're just, bodies of water that are just absorbing it constantly. And so that the social media thing, and then also just capitalism. Like we're all indoctrinated into the idea that our self-worth is directly tied to our productivity. And we have been that's so ingrained in us as well. And then also as just I think our personality types, like we're highly productive, like goal oriented, and we want to help, we want to reach out, we want to connect. Um, yeah, and it's just there's so many reasons
I
why
know.
we're conditioned and, like, have these behaviors.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like our brains are very hungry. So we are feeding it junk food right now.
Mhm.
Essentially, we're feeding our brains the equivalent of like non-satiating, completely processed, not like no vitamins, no
Yeah,
nothing having like it is
empty.
not nourishing
Mhm.
and we are stuffing our faces with that. And I'm also stuffing my face with other
Yeah.
stuff, but you
Pop
know,
chips
but
for
chips,
me.
yeah. Oh, pop chips.
Pop chips, popcorners, forget it. I will easily
So,
crush a bag, and I'm horrified, but it's so delicious.
so
But yeah,
delicious.
that's interesting. It's almost like empty calories,
Your brain.
energetically.
Yeah,
Energetic empty
totally.
calories. And you're
So
still hungry because you didn't nourish yourself.
exactly.
Mm-mm.
And your energy is being siphoned away. And
Mhm.
I and I've been realizing just more and more it's like we really yeah, I believe in reincarnation and all these things, but we only have this one life in this scenario once.
Mhm.
And it's so precious. It's
Mhm.
so incredibly precious. And I spent all day watching Love is Blind yesterday.
Me too, by the way. For everyone out there watching, we both did the exact same thing. Like our trauma path is very, very similar. Which
It's
is why
true.
it's so funny that this I'm so happy to have this conversation because it feels so good to commiserate and to know that I'm like not alone in feeling all of the feelings that have followed.
Yeah.
And today, like I'm not even sure where I'm at today. I definitely feel like I'm closer to the acceptance stage and um really, really trying, and I mean trying, like it's taking energy to reframe it as an opportunity, as a chance to build back better, for lack of a better expression.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like you were saying, like really, it's the opportunity to recreate authentically,
Yeah.
which sounds nice and probably like looks good on a coffee mug,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of hard work, and not I'm not in the place yet where I'm ready to dive into the amount of work that it's gonna be.
I hear you, but you've been making some fucking fire TikToks lately. I love them. I was like, this, she's hitting it. Like she is hitting it on the head. And I'm like, that's what it is. It's just genuine voice.
Thank you.
Genuine voice.
I really appreciate you saying that because TikTok is another just like social media that I feel like I'm drowning in.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like my posts ever really get a lot of traction. And I have found for me, like whenever I take a lot of time and energy and like do like costumes and makeup and like a whole production of a
Mhm.
TikTok that
Mhm.
I put a lot of time and energy and thought into, no one really cares. Couple hundred views maybe.
Yeah.
But if I turn on the camera at Target, people are like obsessed with it. I'm like, what is
What?
that?
I don't get it.
And then, like, someone's shitty crowd work gets 1,000,000 views, and I'm like, "Th w ho make this make sense to me."
It doesn't make
Oh
sense.
my gosh,
And
it's
yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think the I will say the message that I got from the universe very directly and very loudly the morning of that
Mhm.
fateful
That
morning
fateful morning.
was your energy would be better served elsewhere. And I
Mm.
was like, I know. And I was like,
How
I
dare you,
I
number
moved
1.
through I was like, okay, fine. But it was painful because it was such a painful page for me anyway.
Yeah,
And in actuality, the release or the acceptance and the release of it. And of course, I did the same thing. I did the same thing. Like as soon as it happened, it was like 4:30 in the morning. And I
can't
woke
believe
up
you're
like a
up that
weird,
early.
and I was like, what? Just not.
I would
Shouldn't, don't
Yeah,
do it.
you
Like
shouldn't be
bad.
making decisions that early in the morning.
And I had to work that day, and I work at a cafe. So I'm a server. Like
Okay.
that's like work. It's like
Yeah,
hard work right now.
yeah.
And I was like, and I really just kind of tried to go through all the stages really quickly because I had to go to work at like 9 a.m.
You're like, "Alright, let's
I was
go."
like, I'm not
Denial.
fucking around with this. I'm like, okay, what's my lesson learned? And I started writing a newsletter within 15 minutes of it all happening. I was like, let me explain to everybody what happened. And let me talk about this feeling in my heart of grief and letting everyone know that I'm processing. Like I
Yeah,
just started. And then I was like, Jen, Jen, Jen,
immediately.
Jen, 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 Jen. I was like,
Yes. What did we just learn? What did we just get told? And your response is not it, is it?
it
It
was
really
so
isn't.
automatic, Vanessa. It
Yes,
was scary. It was
that
like, boom.
impulse. It's
Yeah.
the impulse, and it's so strong, and, uh, gosh, it really is scary how sometimes, like, impulsive behavior just, like, can rule over you. It,
It really
it's
does.
it takes your power from you, the impulsiveness.
It really
Sacred pause.
does. Sacred pause. Oh,
Yeah,
it
we
this
need
is I feel like this should be what the topic is for them
the
because
sacred
it's
pause.
like, yeah, I mean, I think well, okay, everybody listening and watching. The sacred pause, thanks to Vanessa and Vanessa's brother.
Hmm.
This is essentially what your message from the universe is moving
Hmm.
forward for
Yes.
all of you listening,
Yeah.
whether you're vacuuming or taking your walk, doing your 10,000 steps. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Sacred pause. That's your message from the universe.
Yeah.
And I feel like messages are always about like just where are we? Like you be in this moment, be in this present moment because this is all there is.
Hmm.
And we are spending our life on timelines, linear structures of time, mostly focusing our energy just 3 steps ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Or if we're stuck in a depression or memories or bad mem or trauma even, which of course we're stuck in trauma. I mean, it's fucking traumatizing life. Your energy is focused back here.
Hmm.
And that pulls, that takes, and
Hmm.
you don't get that back.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, universe.
Thank you so much. No, it is nice to impart this, and it's so funny that my brother had sent me this podcast or whatever it was, this meditation, like a week or so before, and I still didn't learn. I
Synchronicity.
had the answer
I know.
literally written, like, on my bulletin board right in front of me when all this went down, and it's just that that impulsive behavior that got me, but I think it is a great lesson for anyone listening to really, I mean, don't click the link also, that's been my major
That's
message
another
to
message for you
everyone.
guys. If you see
Don't
one,
click the link.
don't click it.
But also, yeah, the sacred pause is something that I think we all could, because it's only gonna help you. Because if you know what this decision you wanna make or the choice you wanna make in that very moment, I if that's the right decision, it'll still be the right decision in a half hour.
Yeah, and you can always slow things down. One of the things I was thinking about this morning is it's just like one of these weird, like, I am ascending kind of thoughts that I have to myself where I'm like, if I'm running late, I'll look at the clock and I'll say, okay, universe, slow time down, please, so that I can get to where I need to go. And this morning it occurred to me that it's like, I I have the power to slow time down. I legit have the
Tell me.
power.
Can
You're
you turn back
right.
time? Because that would also be helpful.
No, I cannot, but Cher can.
Not yet. Ooh.
No. Ooh. No, but like but the thing is, when you say to yourself in your reality, time is relative, right? To
Mhm.
you, to your observation, you're the observationer, you're the observer.
Uh-huh.
And if you ask for time to be slowed down as just a little mind trick, it's
Yeah.
like the whole world is not like,
Right.
but you convince yourself. I love these sort of little, people call them spiritual bypassing, but for me, they're just little tricks for yourself
Uh-huh.
to to get you in the emotional feeling state to push that thought through
Right.
or the concept through to manifest. So
Yeah, yeah.
you say like I need to slow time down and if I say that to myself at certain points, I will experience time slowing down.
That's amazing.
But it's like anybody can do that.
Right.
If I okay, so before this, I was starving and I was like, let me try to eat something that's, and I'm not like scarfing it down. I just got over a stomach bug. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to slow time down. I only have 15 minutes to eat this. How do I slow
Mhm.
time down when I've got to eat something really fast and get ready for something?
Yeah.
I literally sat and I slowed down my food consumption
Mm.
and it was fine. And I
Yeah.
like, intuitively ate, whatever, like
Uh-huh.
enjoyed every bite.
Uh-huh.
And it is just experiencing moments of your life and being, I feel like saying being present in these moments just is so overdone and oversaturated. Speaking of social media and making content for social media and so like saturation, it's slowing down so that you can exist in that moment between you and you, where your energy comes down into this body at this moment and connects with your mind and your heart, and you get to experience something with having multiple perspectives about it.
Mhm,
Like, oh, I'm a human experiencing life in this body.
mhm,
Let me act like the observer as well, who's observing this human do that.
right.
And let me really savor this moment.
Yeah, and I like that you said, like, the observer, like, you are changing your perspective of your life in that moment, your existence in that moment, and therefore actually changing your life, because how you perceive it, how you observe it is how it really is.
Yeah. Look at you. I love it.
I believe
Yeah, buddy.
that's correct. Yeah, I'm not,
It feels true.
it feels true, and it is a quarter like, I love the, like, quantum physics aspects of, like, spirituality. That always really, like, fascinates me because I guess in my brain, if I can, like, break it down to, like, a quantum physic level, like, something doesn't exist unless someone is observing it, then that I'm like, "Okay, that is logic that I can wrap my head around
Yeah.
and apply to, like, what you're saying right now."
I find it super helpful too. Like, I love when we talk about psychic stuff or any of that. I love falling back on the talk about energy and like
Mhm.
energetics. We are
Yeah.
a biomagnetic field, you know, or we are an electromagnetic field. And of course, we're feeling all these things. It's physics. It's really
Mhm.
all physics and it's
Mhm.
biology. It's like the
Mhm.
combination of both.
Mhm.
And I feel
Um
like it's so much easier because we've been taught those frameworks. Go ahead, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, well, and just like when I was talking about the energy in like the New York and the tri-state area, and like that our bodies are mostly just like meat sacks of water, like, and how I forget where I saw it, but it was just like calling back to the studies that have been done when people are like yelling at a glass of water. And then when they're telling like the water nice things. That really just, like, hit home for me. I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, we are mostly water, and when you yell at water or when you're nice to water, there's, like, scientific evidence of how it affects it negatively or positively." Yeah, stuff like that I'm
Yeah.
really into.
And when you yell at your hacker, you
Yeah.
know.
Can they
I'm just gonna look it up real quick because I wanna say, like, for people well, I think his name is Yamamoto.
Mhm. That was, like,
Um,
the name of
oh, Maso So Venessa, everybody, is talking about Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiment, and where you test water droplets and then you freeze them after you've imbued them with an emotion or a a command or yelling
frequency.
frequency, exactly, and they crystallize or they freeze differently, and the crystals are all, like, dissonant when you've yelled at them, and then they're
Yeah.
in, like, perfect, like, sacred geometry.
Yes.
Sacred everything, you guys. Sacred
Yeah, and then
comedy,
there was
sacred pause.
sacred pause. And then there was like someone did a follow-up to that experiment, I believe, and they did the same steps as far as like, yelling at one and being nice to the other, like water sample, and then they would dilute it and dilute it and dilute it and dilute it to like a mathematically like exponential point where that matter should have been gone because there was so much water added to it. However, the water still had the memory of that frequency in it, even though it didn't have the physical, like, component. I'm not a scientist,
That's okay.
but, um, yeah, and just that concept that even if I've drank a ton of water,
Yeah.
after whatever trauma, that memory of it is still within me energetically, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, yeah, I mean, water, I feel like I've heard this a million times. I don't know who says it, but water holds memory.
Right.
And I remember watching Teal Swan, go ahead, judge me. Um, Everyone is good and bad, everybody. Everyone is made up of all kinds of parts,
Correct.
and she has a lot of really good parts and a lot of really good information. So get over it. But I,
Mhm.
her whole thing is like it basically imbuing pray. That's why we pray over food.
Mhm.
You're actually giving it that frequency of
Mhm.
love. That's your intention that you're putting inside of it, and
Mhm.
you can do that with your water, where you're like you kind of hold it and you hold that intention and with the intention of imbuing this water with love, absolute, perfect, unconditional love.
Mhm.
And then you drink it. And then that goes into
Continue.
you.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yum, 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 yum,
So
yum.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm constantly like whenever I'm trying to change my mindset or lift my frequency or whatever, water is always just the easiest thing for me to like. I am so grateful that this cup of water comes out of the sink whenever I fucking want it. And yeah, I'm just so, so grateful that just like to have the access to clean drinking water. That's
It's huge.
yeah.
It's huge. And like water and taking a deep breath. Those
Mm.
are two small things that
Mhm.
can help with the sacred pause, can help lift the frequency.
Yes.
So is laughter.
Yes.
FYI. The
Oh,
quickest way to go from a
so
low
good.
frequency to a higher frequency.
Is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's in my opinion. No,
Well,
in my
yeah.
experience, especially with psychic stuff,
Uh-huh.
there were a lot of times where I was just kind of like getting that message. It's the quickest way to go from dark to light.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's like there's a membrane separating the two. And if you can release a little bit of the energy or the pressure that's holding the darkness,
yeah,
laughter is the easiest way to do it. That's why comics are always walking that line. They're walking that line between light and dark.
yeah, yeah, I feel like that's my whole life has been that.
Cheers.
Which is why I think I'm really good at it because I've had a ton of practice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Little like balancing act.
Yeah, and just it's become a way of coping. I
Yeah.
mean, I think when I was however young, when I started to be like the mediator and the peacekeeper and the clown in my family to keep us all together, I wasn't thinking about like the alchemy that I was performing at the time. But it was just something that I quickly learned, and I think was also like I was kind of just born with a sense of humor maybe, but or that gift. And I learned very quickly that I can apply this in all situations, and it really can, it just, yeah, it can help you get through some really difficult stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been saying it for over a year and I'll keep saying it that especially female comedians are the new healers.
Oh,
Or not only the new healers, they are paving the way for a new kind of healing that we
mm,
haven't necessarily really looked at and considered a healing art, you know?
that's yeah, yeah. I mean, because I think a lot of people are familiar with like the catharsis behind it,
Mhm.
and I'm happy to be in that group. I'm pleased, and I just fucking love making people laugh. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So your brother had sent that pause thing and everything a week before. Were there,
Hmm.
when you think about it now, were there any other signs or messages that you were getting prior
Mm.
or like leading up to it?
Like synchronicities or whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, it has been a really difficult past few months. My grandmother passed over Christmas.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. She was a very complicated woman, and it wasn't. I think when like a lot of people hear that you lost your grandma, they think of like a sweet old lady who made you cookies, but that was not my grandmother.
Yeah.
And then it brought our family together for like the services and all of that. And then that opened up this can of worms about my mom and her husband and their marriage and how it's slowly but surely turned incredibly abusive. And we didn't know how bad it had gotten until we were all like staying together, and it kind of exploded in one horrible night. And then just kind of like coming back to New York and working and just I've always been trying to like remove alcohol from my life as well, which is just like a constant like battle, especially
Yeah.
when you do comedy, especially when you live in New York City,
Yeah.
whatever. Um and then unrelated, I changed my phone number. Um maybe like the end or like the beginning of February. And I had been meaning to do that for a long time because I've had the same like mobile number since I was 17.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And
shit.
I've been like thinking about changing it and like, updating it and whatever. And then one night I got 5 voicemails from an ex, and like he was wasted, just nonsensical voicemails. And like I woke up and like listened to them the next morning. I was like, good God. And I was like, it's time to change my number.
Oh,
So I did, and I don't think that's related in any way, but um I do think that there's something about if that's like a clearing out
mm,
of old contacts, people who have access to me. Um it was like a spiritual cleansing of like my contact information. And then when the Instagram hack happened, I was like, this is sort of like that, but with my social media, which I don't
yeah.
know, the phone number thing was much easier for me to understand, and like that, like the positive effect it will have. Only people who I give my number to now are going to be able to get in contact with me, but like the
Yeah.
Instagram thing, and also that was my choice.
Yeah.
Um, but this, I am trying to kind of reframe it as like a karmic cleanse, and it is devastating just because of the amount of content I had on there.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the only thing that kind of like comes up in my head is that just several weeks before I changed my phone number. And also you said something really funny about my new phone number. It was like, you're like, what a beautiful phone number.
It was a great number. It
I was
was,
like, because all the sevens in
yeah,
it.
basically. Yeah.
And I do see I see angel
Pleasing.
numbers nonstop. Um, and I get a little confused by them because I'm always thinking, does that mean something good's coming or
Yeah.
that I'm aligned? Or, but I feel like I'm just still in the same shit month after month, even though I'm seeing like angel numbers all the time.
I'll say this about angel numbers.
Hmm.
This angel numbers are kind of like either your guidance system, which in my definition of your personal guidance system, I define that as your higher self, your body, your spirit guides, any guides who are or helping you along, even ancestors who are helping you along. I call that all the PGS, like the personal guidance system. So I feel like it's your personal guidance system just being like a and when you see an angel number, the best thing to do is to freeze and sacred pause
Uh-huh.
and think about or rewind a little bit what you were either thinking or doing or what was happening in your head, what was happening
Mm,
in your life. Because
hmm.
it's kind of it's a sort of like a divination tool where you're being forced to look at some. I mean, there are signs everywhere, but you as the observer are only looking at them a certain part of the time. So something in you has you look at it at that time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's you being like, it's 11:10. I'm gonna look at the clock. I'm just gonna forget about it. And oh my God, it's 11:11.
Me? Oh my God, how crazy. I
Oh my God,
wasn't
angel
even
numbers love
expecting
me.
it.
I know, right? But I think it's like it's sometimes it's that, but a lot of times it's your PGS just kind of being like tap tap tap, boom.
Mhm.
Like, and that boom is whatever you were either just thinking or something maybe have popped into your head or something. Or a lot of times, and if you look online, you find an array of meanings about different
Mhm.
angel numbers. And
Yeah,
I
it
like
always
pick the best
overwhelms
one.
me.
I
Okay,
know.
you picked the
I
one that
do.
speaks to you.
I use Google as a divination tool as well. So I pick the one exactly, I pick the one that speaks to me. It's like tarot. It's like it's all it is reflecting
Mhm.
a and I know it's we say subconscious, but I'm starting to think of it as super conscious part of me that is going to assign meaning. I'm the one who's going to assign the meaning to it. So
Right.
what
So
is how is this significant? Why is this moment in time significant to me?
right. That's that's useful. I can use that because for before I just thought it was like a thumbs up.
I think sometimes it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and 1111 all the time, 444 all the time. Oh, and
Love
just
those.
going back to what a shit couple of months it's been,
Oh, yeah.
like I mentioned, like Belly Laugh, that show that I mean, I have been producing that show at the Decal Hall for like since before the pandemic.
Holy
And
shit.
it was like 6 or 7 months before the pandemic, and then I did it sort of when we kind of came back, when the pandemic opened up. And then for like another like a year after that, and then it closed because they closed that space, and then they tried to move me into another like part of the bar. And then and then I just let it go because I was like, you know what, I need to let this go. It's not going to work. That like I'm just getting pushed out of this space time after time. And then I went shopping at that mall, which I go to all the time because there's a Trader Joe's and a Target and all kinds of stuff. So I'm always there. And I ran into the previous bartender at the space that I used to run the show at, and he's now like a GM of the market hall or like one of the managers, and he told me they had renovated the bar and they put an actual stage in and they need comedy and they're looking for someone to do comedy. And um so I went and checked out the space. There's a new bar owner. And so I went by one weeknight to go introduce myself and talk to the new bar owner. Even though I've been working with this like venue, this at the decaf hall for years now. And when I walked in, the owners, like the GM of the whole market hall was there who knew me and was like, "Oh my gosh, Vanessa, like and I was like, "Oh, here, I'm here to talk about putting comedy." He's like, "Hell yeah." He's like, "This is your girl," talking to the owner. He's like, "This is your girl. She's the best. She's doing comedy here." Like, so like
Oh,
there were several synchronicities of just running into the old bartender, him telling me that they had renovated the space and they were looking for comedy. And then when I went in to go talk to the bar owner, the GM of the whole place was there and like gave me a glowing review.
yeah.
And I was like, this is nothing but good signs. I'm supposed to be doing this. And they gave me 3 shows, and then the bar owner just canceled me because I didn't have great ticket sales. And it's like, okay, January 3rd, January 17th, and January 31st, like the slowest time for comedy right after the holidays in entertainment and hospitality, just like a slow time.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, when you think you can get like 50 to 100 people in a show,
What?
50 to 100 people?" And I was like, "You're high." Like, no. And it was just it came down to money. And so all of that to say that all those synchronicities that led me to put that show back up, and I was putting money into Google Ads. I had like done all these new graphics. I was just putting a lot of intention and care into rebuilding the
You were
show again.
hustling.
And then it was just taken. And I was like, "What the fuck is that about?" Why why all the
Wow.
synchronicities to point me to one thing
Yeah.
just for it to be taken away? So, and from an absolute douchebag. Oh my god, this guy, his idea of marketing was to the bar owner was to have someone at the bottom of the escalator when you get into the market hall, someone at the bottom telling one-liners.
What? Unpaid, of course.
Right. How horrified would you be if you went to the bottom and, like, rode an escalator to the bottom, and at the bottom, of course, some, like, dumb white guy was like, "Hey, what do you think about what do you think about abortion?" You know, like, who knows? It would be bad. It would just be so cringy. The guy's other idea was to have someone dress up as a mime and walk around and pass out flyers for the show. I was like, "This guy," he's like, "Does he think this is a circus? Does he think?"
Is he from, like, Coney Island in the
I don't know
1890s? Like,
what this guy's deal was, and so it was, like, just added insult to injury that this is the guy who is in control of taking this show from me because he's just such a lunatic and has no idea how to run a comedy show or anything about a comedy show. So, all of these things being taken from
mm,
me in the past, like, since the new year.
I
There've
have a
just been
question for you.
please,
What's being given to you?
how much time do we have?
Take your time. Yeah, with magic of editing.
I
Take
mean,
your time.
my initial reaction, the voice in my head was like, "Nothing.
That's valid. You're right.
Nothing's being given to me. Everything's being taken from me."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Okay, your first thought is not your best thought." Uh, and, like, not physically, because nothing has physically been coming back to me. Like, I'm very grateful to have a safe and affordable home, a good job, clean drinking water,
Yeah.
a family that uh, I love. I have plenty to be grateful for in that sense. And
Yeah.
um, comedy stuff is always up and down,
Yeah.
but when when I've seen this pattern of things just being
Yeah.
like pulled out here, taken out from under me here, shown to me, and then been like, eh, and they're like, ha ha,
Oh, those are the
no.
worst. Those are the fucking worst.
Those are because that I was just like, I've been kind of railing against, like, source and spirit, right, like, recently. I've really been like, "This is messed up for you to make." I just feel like I'm being made a fool of time after time.
In this world, I can understand that. But I
Mhm,
want you to consider this.
mhm,
You're being given time and energy.
mm.
That is more valuable when you're starting to slow things down as you are, because now it's sinking in, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Your time and your energy is so much more valuable than a guy walking around in a mime suit advertising a fucking show.
Can you believe
Your
it?
time and your energy is a precious treasure that shall not be spent anymore in ways or places that don't benefit you.
Yes, thank you, and
And it totally fucking sucks, and I
yeah,
get that,
thank you.
and it can suck at the same time, and it's yeah, because I wasn't, like, trying to usually, it was literally just I was playing with that, like, well, if everything is a reflection, then what would be the counterpoint to everything being taken?
Mhm, mhm. And after I heard that initial voice in my head just being like, "Nothing. Everything's being taken from me, and it's not fair," like, I'm like, "Okay, I hear you and I see you."
We gotta love that voice. I love you, voice. I love
Like,
you, protector of Vanessa, that all these things have been fucking, and it's true,
yes,
they have been
she's
100%.
righteous. She is righteous. And, but then, thinking deeper into it, I think what you said, time and energy, yes, and I need to really refocus, like, or re-examine that, really re-examine the value that I put on my time and energy, and also it just seemed really clear that all of this shit had to go.
Yeah.
All of this shit's gotta go, and, it's funny
Ah,
because maybe, like and maybe it started with this, like, the passing of my grandmother, and, like, we were literally cleaning out her house, and
oh,
then
that's
all
huge,
this stuff
man.
with, my mom and stepfather and their marriage and, like, that kind of clearing out of, like, all this stuff that's been going on for so long and opening it up, looking at it, and, like, we're moving forward, we're trying to address it. Then my show, just, like it was just, not that, that's gotta go as well.
Yeah.
Um, I changed my phone number, and
Yeah.
then now this Instagram thing, and just, like, apparently all this shit just really had to go, and I'm really trying to lean into and have faith in that this is, happening for me. Yeah,
You were saying that when we originally connected about this, and I was
yeah,
like, that's so fucking perfect. Like it's just to remember that and just to stay with that, that it's
yeah,
happening for me, not to me, is like such a beautiful,
yeah.
important
And that comes from
perspective to
my
hold.
sister. So, yeah,
Oh my god.
I have wonderful
Your
siblings.
siblings are
Yeah,
amazing.
I have
Your people.
incredible siblings, and, I mean, that it's happening for you is probably what I'm really holding on to, and, I mean, it's easier said than done, though.
Yeah.
It's
You
really easier
know,
said than
I
done.
will say one thing because I feel like this is happening a lot to people I know where it's just
Mhm.
like one after another. And it's like, hold on, like just give me a second to like breathe first.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's waking you up in a really beautiful way where you're still safe. You're still, for the most part, there's those paths, those the energies of all of those things, beings, relationships, this space, that show, that guy, whatever,
Mhm.
the ex, there's it can't be sustained where you're going.
Mm.
It can't exist anymore in the frequency that you're heading to
Mhm.
because you're also experiencing all of those things to integrate them into you. And honestly, I would like I was gonna say make friends with, and the only thing it says like make love to, that voice that's like, "Everything's being taken away from me." Like, make love to that voice and be like, "It's okay. I hear you." And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, 'cause it is fair, it just fucking
It
sucks.
sucks.
It
It
sucks.
hurts. You know what I hate? I have
Mm.
this weird like, and I think I always feel like this feels very ancient in me, and I think it's I don't know how common it is, but I have like a weird, real like aversion to people taking from me and like being robbed,
Violated.
stolen, totally being violent, being stolen from.
Mhm.
It just kills me. It kills me,
Mhm.
and I think because I have such a strong reaction to that idea and that feeling and the experience of being taken from.
Mm.
So I just want you to know, like, I'm doing the same. Everything I'm asking you, I'm also like doing for
Yes,
myself too. Cause I
yes, no,
also changed my phone number, which is hilarious
it's
that
funny.
I changed my phone number because of the hack, and you
Uh-huh.
changed it just
Oh,
because. And I was like,
yeah.
I don't know anyone who has changed their phone number. They might have told me they changed their phone number, but they actually deleted mine. But like, I was like, that's pretty amazing that we both had that sort of like fresh start. Like, this is
Mhm,
going to be a fresh start. The scab, the scab is going to fall away right now
mhm.
because we're healing.
Healing.
I know. I was like, is there another word for healing? My God.
Evolving, growing, changing,
Growing, exactly, all the above,
all the above.
and we are integrating, and
Yeah.
we are we're taking that as part of ourselves, so we're finding love for all of these things that are happening to us
Mhm.
because they are for us. And they are kind of like a gift. Ugh,
Mhm.
fucking
Mhm.
painful gift.
Yeah. A
Super
very
painful
rude
gift.
one. It's a
So
very
rude.
rude gift that it's like on its face, it's like, this is not a gift. But, you know, 5 years from now, maybe even a year from now, I'll be like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah.
I fucking hope so. I hope I hope it's sooner than later that I'm really able to look at it and say, "Oh, yeah, like that had to happen."
You know what I feel like also is that when this kind of shit happens again and
Going there.
worse, we're going to be better at like we're going to be more equipped to deal with it
Mhm.
because it's like
That's very
everything
true.
always gets worse. So, but it also everything also always gets better
Yeah.
at the same time. And when the
Yeah.
more we can hold that sort of like balance in the middle, and I've been researching mudras, and I know sort of putting things together and like bringing your two sides together. We do that for prayer where we hold our hands together in like prayer formation, but I've been doing these things with my hands, or I've been feeling the need to really just integrate both sides,
Mm,
um, and find the middle ground as much as possible. Because I'm a very extreme either or kind of a person, or
mhm.
both. And I used to say to people like, "Well, of course I have to go to extremes. How am I going to know where the middle is?" And that was like my logical. Of course I have to go nuts and you know be compulsive to find the balance. How am I going to know? How am I
Right.
going to know?
Yeah, I need to
And
know where the 3rd rail is.
I know. How am I gonna know it if I don't?
I need to touch it to make sure it's the 3rd rail as well. So,
I We're really in trouble when we just touch it more than once.
that's right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This has been real yeah, this is helpful. Love is Blind.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. To
Is
wrap
that
up,
how we're gonna
love
wrap
is
it up?
blind.
Love is Blind. Because I am blindly just, like, going into my future being like, "Will love find me? Is love blind? Will it? Is this gonna work out for me?"
Oh my god. Well, you don't have to get unlike the reality show, you don't have to marry anything within 4
Correct.
weeks.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk down a fucking aisle with
No.
anything, because
Yeah.
that's the old world. We are done with that shit.
Yeah.
We're done with that shit.
Yeah, I don't when I left Facebook, that was a huge because again, it's something that I chose to do, and I really wanted to just get rid of all of that shit, and I felt like I also knew it was gonna be a lot harder to book not being on Facebook anymore, and that, "Oh, no, like, no one's gonna remember me or I'm gonna disappear because I'm not on Facebook," but I was like, I still I'm so over Facebook that I have to do this. I want to do this. I don't care. I'll I'll still figure it out. Um, and I've done fine.
And you're fine without it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess this is just yeah, it just really seems like a karmic like clearing out, but like major. And
Major.
this last one was has been brutal because I didn't choose it. I didn't make
Yeah.
the choice for it to happen. It just kind of happened without my I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. And I hate to say this, but I had to say this to myself. I'll say this to myself. I'm not saying this for you. I'm saying it for me. For me, it needed to happen
Mm,
because I hated my Instagram page. It drove me nuts. And I
yeah.
knew it was driving me nuts, and it wasn't just that the page creating the content so painstakingly.
Yep.
It wasn't that the creating the content was driving me nuts. It was the low engagement, the
Mhm.
confusion as to what I'm supposed to be doing, what's the strategy, what are my pillars,
Right.
getting advice from other people,
Yeah.
what's going just aiming for this viral
Yeah.
nebulous thing I'm supposed to aim for. But the
Yeah.
truth is, I don't think I want that. It's not that I don't want to like go viral, I guess,
Right.
but I don't know that I do. I don't know.
Mhm.
Whatever. I mean, I just feel like the realistically stepping back from this page, I'm like, there's no way to plan to be viral. There's ways to there's ways you can, because you see what goes viral. And if you're a content creator, you're like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
fuck.
Every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, "This?
This,
That?"
and some of it I'm like, oh, that cat is fucking,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
lit. Like I get it. But at the same time, it's like, why do I want to strive to pull people out of their focus?
right,
But that's also the bitter side of me that's like, I'm just gonna like shit all over it because it
right.
won't have me. But I, you know,
Yes.
but I think I'm realizing my paradigm around social media has had to shift, because not only was it energy in creating the content for me, it was the energy of watching other people and
Yeah,
being like, I'm going to like this, even though I don't understand why it's doing so fucking well.
yeah.
Or seeing other people, putting myself against them, having other people see me and imagine that I'm doing so well when I'm not. Like, no one's react. The best engagement I ever got was when I posted about how I got hacked and scammed.
Oh my god.
Super embarrassing.
That
So
and that's
embarrassing.
ironic. That's just deeply upsetting and ironic. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting to think of what we can accomplish and what we can do when our attention isn't hijacked by Instagram.
Yes. And I will say this on a positive note, I am hearing from other people, people who manage accounts for really large clients,
Cool.
say that they are having really strange experiences on Instagram, and that the algorithm, even though they are paying for these big budgets for campaigns for their huge clients,
Uh-huh.
something is up. Something's not right? Something is not working. And a lot of people are feeling like this darkness around it, and people are starting to remove their energy investment in it,
Mm, mhm,
you
mhm,
know?
mhm.
And I think it's a sign of more to come.
I thank you so much for sharing that because it just makes me feel like just gives a lot more faith in what has happened, like
Yeah.
that it's happened for a reason, that
Yeah.
it's happening for me. And I think there is a major shift going on, like energetically. I'm sure you could speak more to that than I can. I know about it. But and for these things have uh life cycles like Facebook, like MySpace,
Yeah.
Facebook, what
Friendster.
Friendster, or like Vine.
Oh my God.
Twitter, I think is over, like Threads is
Yeah.
doesn't count. Just all these things, like they all have like a life, and now like TikTok I think is like number one and in its heyday, but also very dark. TikTok is a very dark
So
place.
dark. I am seeing
So,
such horrible things on TikTok. I'm
oh
like,
god, thank
why?
God.
Yeah.
It's it's like this living thing. And
Just
uh
showing you. Sorry, not my daughter, but
job. See? That's what I'm
ugh,
talking about.
there we
It
go.
finds me.
It is 4:44, everybody, on
444.
our time, in the space that you're in with us, in this time and
Ooh.
space. Go ahead.
So yeah, when that's really interesting to know, and I appreciate you sharing it with me because
Yeah,
also, like, going back
it
to, like, this
helps.
whole capitalist, like, indoctrination, my self-worth, my talent is not directly related to my productivity,
Yeah.
and what will it look like for me when I have more time and energy, which is my most valuable of resources? What do
Yes.
I do with that? What do I create with that? And coming from a
And
much more authentic space of creating than trying to go viral.
where you may practice the sacred pause. Ah,
That's it. We did it. We solved it.
we did it. We're done. We can die. Let's
We
reincarnate.
can die now. We finished life.
We can go
Good
haunt
job.
the fucking hackers.
Yes. That's
We
that's the
are
dark
done.
energy in social media is all the people who have been hacked in the past, and they're just on there, like, gremlining
Yeah.
ruin
It's
it.
so icky. It's so icky. Well, Vanessa,
Yes.
please tell everybody where they can find you.
My new Instagram handle?
Your website, let's go with website, let's go
Sure,
with TikTok, let's go with the ones that don't feel as icky right now, but yeah,
sure.
I'll include that as well.
Okay, so my name is Vanessa Peruda, but you need to spell Vanessa with an E. It's Venessa, Peruda, Peruda. If you Google me, I'm proud to say there's good stuff that you will find. You'll find a website, you'll find my Vimeo, you'll find lots of fun photos. My Twitter, I've abandoned entirely, or my X now. I mean, it exists if you wanna you can find me on X, which is hard to say. I haven't X'd in months because if you tweet, you don't say you tweet, like, you X now?
I don't I'm not I think we talked about this in like our first episode. I was like, I'm not obeying his rules
No,
on this.
no.
Like, I don't care.
My new Instagram handle is LOL_Vanessa, Venessa. I have one reel up. I think I've got 63 followers, which is pretty
Woo,
good.
you got more than
Um,
me.
yeah, and
Woo.
if you do follow me, stay patient because I think the content that I will be posting now will be hilarious as always, but maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more authentic, and I don't wanna be a slave to an algorithm, so I'm gonna post
Yeah.
when I fucking want to, and, I hope you enjoy, and you can see if I perform, wherever in the tri-state area or all over the country.
Yeah.
You can find my calendar on my website.
Amazing. All that information is going to be included in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Thank
This has been
you. Cathartic.
cathartic, healing, all the
Mhm.
things.
Expanding.
Expansive. Thank you.
Thank you very much.